Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Tokwe Mark Odige. And as usual, I have the ladies with me. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Good morning, Tokwe.
Damilola.
You got it right.
Damilola is her name. But before we introduce you, we have the newest baby in town. We have a new glamour in town. Congratulations to YK. Our daughter just gave birth to a second child yesterday, and we're so grateful to God. So YK now has 2 grandchildren. Congratulations, YK. Congratulations, Rolari. God bless you.
Congratulations to the Anikulapo Kutis.
Congratulations to the entire Anikulapo Kuti clan.
Yes.
You know, and we really, my husband was like, so that small Rolari now has 2 children. I said, she's not small, though. She got married like 4 years ago.
In her 30s, she's not small. So, YK, you know, our elders always pray to see their children's children. So I know this is a major blessing. And I tap into YK's blessing.
I tap everybody.
I looked at my daughter this morning. I was like, I looked at the baby's picture. I looked at my daughter. I was like,
one day you do.
I tap into it. God bless you, YK. Many more good things like this to come.
I tap into the YK glam, that I would look like YK when my children are having their own children.
Yes,
so like it's so that we're healthy, you can take care of
help. Yes.
Congratulations.
Like you even think she's your grandmother.
Yes. Damilola. I have one of my best friends in school was Damilola. Like, we're not in touch right now, so I think I'll probably I'll send her a Facebook message because she's my friend on Facebook. But like, I used to really, I'm always like calling her name over and over again. So when I heard your name in makeup room, I'm like, I'm going to so hype your name on the show today.
Damilola is like one of the most popular Yoruba names. Like,
yeah, because it means everywhere. Like God has done something
Damilola
wealthy. God has made me wealthy, right?
Yes.
God has brought wealth into, beautiful. What do you do?
I'm a presenter, producer.
Yay.
I work with practice.
These are like
time here.
Over time, she's a
You see what happened?
Yesterday,
day before yesterday, I was asking every co-host that, have you guys been on the show before? And they were saying, like everyone has said no, except Precious. And today that I did not ask is the day that somebody has been on the show before.
like 10 times.
Yes, many times. I've been on.
Was this my first time with you?
No, this is not my first time with you.
Are you kidding? Yes. Oh my goodness, let's go on a break. Because this is an embarrassment on national TV. I could have... Jeez, I need to start taking Omega Kineko. Let's wake up this brain. We'll take a break right now. When we return, we'll go through the top stories in the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Front Page Review starts now with The Nation. Major headline: Buhari, coronavirus, others threaten Nigeria's economy. Oil price dips below $57 budget benchmark. Inspector killed, 13 injured in police raid on terrorist camps. How attempts to bomb Lagos was foiled. Fashola opens up. Sultan warns on 50,000 orphan kids, condemns Shege Kafasa. Call members for Duke Edinburgh Award. 14 youths honored. And you can't miss the picture. Set to battle Boko Haram. The helicopters acquired by the Nigerian Air Force during the induction into the fleet at the Eagle Square in Abuja yesterday. So, what happened with Lagos and what is Fashola saying?
Quickly, I need to take that story. So, the ex-governor Fashola was addressing at an event, and he was talking about how in 2013, 17 boxes of explosives were brought into Lagos, and they were missed by law agents, the law enforcement, security agents, and they quickly had to be mopped up, and Lagos saved. And in that same article, that speech he gave, he talked about how important it was for people to for Lagos to put laws on ground to make people identify themselves in public facilities, in hotels and all that. How people cannot just be moving without any form of trail, without any, So it's very important. And reading it now, I now understand in retrospect those laws about LASRA that were launched in his time that people questioned, a lot of other things. And recently, and he spoke quickly in the same
support
of the Okada ban, talking about how more important security was over everything that we're talking about. Because once security fails, even those things that we are considering, we won't have that.
So we have 50,000 orphan kids.
Yeah, according to that story now, the Sultan of Sokoto was actually talking at a security conference also, talking about the insurgency in the north and saying that most of the governors should actually adopt these 50,000 orphans because their circumstance is just due to what has happened. That if they don't adopt them and implement rules that would actually help them get better, they'll tend to come out worse than the Boko Haram guys right now. So he's just saying that they should
speedy
implement
adoption process or foster. I think we need to have like a foster system. You want to talk about this story?
Yes, I just want to add. So these 50,000 orphans came about because of the insurgency that's been happening in the north. And he's saying he's specifically talking to the governors and the leaders. He says one of the problems that they have in the north is as a result of like the incompetency of the leaders and the governors, especially now with the new group that came up with the Shege Kafasa. He says, what does that even mean? It is because people have not, taken up your responsibility. These youths are coming together and forming things like that. You need to do something about these kids who have no parents. If we don't do something about them now, they will be worse off, and worse off for all of us in the future. So that's just what he's saying.
I think it's a hot topic. Maybe
Yes,
not
it
today.
is, yeah.
I think it's a hot topic. Moving on to the Punch, major headline. 74 parties lose registration, set to battle INEC in court. Buhari inducts Augusta helicopters, promises to re-equip the military. Federal government allocates 620 million naira to stop coronavirus outbreak. Man to die by hanging for killing Uber driver. President, 2 governors begin 5-day trip to Ethiopia. Ile Arugbo, Kwara Saraki's lawyers meet again Tuesday. Lagos serves stop work order in Magodo Greenbelt building. Fashola backs Sanwo-Olu on Okada Marwa ban. Minister, agencies working at cross purposes. That's from the economic team. Amotekun recruitment. The recruitment form will be out next week, says Akeredolu. Foreign reserves dropped by $4.4 billion in 2019. That's from the CBN. NECO releases results. 52% failed to obtain 5 credits. So now, what story are we taking? Major headline.
Let me take the major headline.
headline.
So the INEC has deregistered about 74 political parties, and it's based on the grounds that they did not meet the requirements for a party, for party registration. And we have 18 political parties as of right now. Although the other political parties are saying they will take this to court and they will fight it. But one of the bases that the INEC used or some of the parties that have been deregistered are National Conscience Party, which was established by the late Gani Fawehinmi, Kowa Party, and United People's Party, and so many other parties like that. So the thing is, they said that in order to implement this alteration to the Constitution carried out assessment, they did, because of the 2019 general elections, the reruns, they were able to assess these political parties during this period and found out that they were
wasn't worth it.
So they said that
I
for
agree
those
we should
parties
shrink.
to be able to run, they have to go to court.
Yes.
To get
One
that.
of the
I
things
agree with
that
shrinking.
happened was that they didn't get 25% vote for
Yeah.
presidential
Yeah, so
election
their
and also
performances-
local government chairman. They don't even have anybody in the Senate right now. So that was one of the criteria why they were
If it's legal,
removed,
then they should go ahead. 74 parties, you say,
Yes.
Damila?
74 parties loses registration.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what
the
we
same-
just
that's
did.
the story,
Oh,
that's the
okay.
story.
So I wanted to take the Lagos the Magodo Greenbelt.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
we've been following that story.
Yes. So officials of the Drainage Enforcement and Compliance Unit of Lagos State Ministry of Environment have gone there and started marking houses and buildings being constructed in that area, saying that area is supposed to control flood from the Magodo phase 1 and 2. And that's what the estates around have been clamoring, that do not allow these people come up with buildings. But the last time we took this story, people had already paid a developer for that project. I think
So
those
how do we
people now,
refund?
following this story and should be doing everything possible to get their monies back through the courts.
But
of
Nima,
course.
how does this
They should-
happen? Is it that there's no cohesion in the government? How do you go and get permit for building an estate or building anything
an
within
area
the local
earmarked?
government? I mean, you go to the local government, one person gives you a permit, and then another person
No.
comes and
I can assure you,
and crosses you
with
down.
what I know in this business, I can assure you that they
Some people
don't
didn't-
have a building approval as
Wow.
of now. What
And
people
they're already
usually do
building.
is that when an area has been marked by government and government saying we don't want a building here, they will continue in the hope that they can get it reversed.
Why?
And they will get people to rely on that misrepresentation, hoping that they can correct it later.
Please, before buying property,
always-
seek a legal
Exactly.
opinion.
A legal opinion and, you know, follow the right advice.
I want to quickly talk about the NECO issue because the results, oh, you have the story.
Yes, and another.
Oh, but well, it's a decline
can-
and it's bad.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
a
so that's
decline
it.
and it's bad. So that means that the last NECO result was less than the previous ones and the one before that. So what are we now doing to meet up that shortfall? There must be a strategic action carried out by the Ministry of Education to ensure that.
It's
Like every time results like this come
It's even
out,
the
they
major
are not
headline
doing
right
very
here in
well.
Daily Sun.
No, actually, this is a decline. In
Major
2018,
decline.
it was about 68%
Yes.
pass. But now we have less than 50% of
Yeah.
the students.
Moving on to
Yeah,
Daily Sun.
48%.
The major headline, we just discussed it. INEC proposes 74 political party and 48.68% pass NECO SSCE exams. We also discussed that. Our successes in insurgency fight have restored Nigeria's pride. That's from Buhari. National Assembly constitutes 56-member Constitution Review Committee.
Exactly.
And Edo Obaseki must do 2 terms. That's from Idahusa. That's from Idahusa.
If they vote for him.
If they vote for him.
Governor's politics of bitterness will spell doom, says Afemai Group. That's your people, Ima. And the final story I'll be taking is IPPIS will stop work if federal government stops our salary. That's from ASU. So please, what's happening with Edo?
National Assembly quickly. They'll
take-
be all right. We just want to wait and see the end of it. I don't want to get involved. The National Assembly has flagged off a 56-man member committee to review and amend the constitution, hopefully.
What are the highlights
So
they want to change?
They've unfortunately it's not been stated, but these committees have representatives from the 36 states in the committee and all the geopolitical zones as well, headed by the Senate Deputy President, Senator Omo Agege. So I cannot just wait because there are a lot of areas that we felt that the last constitutional review did not cover and that we expect. So those are the things I'm looking forward to seeing following this story subsequently. But this was met with a lot of disagreement in the House. Hopefully we get there.
Moving on quickly to the Vanguard. Major headline, decimation of Boko Haram. Prominent northern leaders disagree with Buhari, Air Chief. Sexual assault. Police confirm arrest of OAU lecturer. Imo, reverse your verdict. Ihedioha tells Supreme Court. INEC deregisters 74 parties, fixes Edo, Ondo global polls for September 19 and October 10. Ondo bank robbery. 2 policemen, 2 others killed. Our economic growth slow. Advisory Council tells Buhari. And Lawan says, we need to revisit the power sector privatization. Federal government slashes visa fees for U.S. citizens. And Fashola backs Sanwo-Olu on Okada ban. So,
Okay, basically, the ban for U.S. citizens before, if a U.S. citizen wants to apply for visa, is like $180. So now they slashed it to $160. That's about 57,000 naira right now. And I think it's because of coming into Nigeria. They said that the process is very stiff. Like, before you get a visa to come into Nigeria, it's very difficult. And based on this strain that Trump has put on Nigeria and everything, so they just reduced that.
it's a bit late though, because the U.S. complained about this thing
That's
last
why
year.
they did.
Yeah.
They did it last year, and they increased the fee for Nigerians to get American visa. And then this was supposed to have been done immediately. So what will happen now? Moving on, what other story?
Okay,
Maya.
there's a story that I don't know if
skipped. Yeah,
yes.
go ahead.
And it's just to honor the police officer, the special police officer that died in the last the attack that was done by our Nigerian police force.
The one
Yes, in Kaduna State, that they caught hundreds of the bandits
Over
and
200.
terrorists in their camp. So we lost the police officer. Remember that the craft was shot down. They had like 13 of them injured, but one of them has passed away. And I just wanted to say his name so that we see that these people who are working for us and fighting for us are making the ultimate sacrifice. So the late inspector is called Mohammed Abubakar, and they say he was one of the finest officers of the police special forces with vast training and operational background, both at home and abroad. He was born 1985, July 8th. And, you know, just a very fine officer.
Entire family
yes,
of Mohammed Abubakar,
yes.
the inspector who lost his life while fighting Boko Haram insurgency attacks. And I think we should putting a human face to it is very important so that we will respect that while this war is going on, our citizens, our people are dying to protect us. Our heart goes out to the family and shout out to all the police officers that are doing this to protect us. That's all we can take on Front Page Review for today. Next, we discuss our lineup of hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. We were gingerly minding our business when we saw this on social media. A man tweeted saying, if I marry you and you cheat, and I cheat, you must forgive me. But if you do a cheat back, the marriage is over. What's your opinion on this? That is saying if I marry, that means he's single. He's proposing this to somebody that he wants to marry, or he's saying that in a case of marriage, this is hypothetical. But then we're discussing it like it's a fact. Join the conversation by calling us on 070-8066-8014, or you could tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we could get your opinion. I'm starting with you.
All right, first off, I think cheating, there's no excuse for cheating. In a marriage, there's no excuse. You should not even cheat. Now, if you're the other person and you decide to forgive the person that cheated, I think you should make a conscious effort not to even cheat. If you decide to forgive that person, and if you want to leave the marriage, it's left to you. But if you decide to cheat in a marriage and you're coming out to say this is unacceptable, this is something you should not even say in
Which
public.
part of it is it that you are not
that
accepting?
you will cheat first and she forgives.
They
Then
said
if he cheats first, then if the partner should cheat his wife, then the marriage is over. No, the marriage is not over.
Nima, I'm seeing your face and I'm wondering,
My
what are
own
you
is,
thinking?
I just want to say thank you to this man for saying it beforehand. When you want to go into any form of relationship or contract, you need to know what the terms are. And we're happy that he has laid it out, because what is even more annoying is to go into something and find that what you expected is different from what has been, what has been laid down. So thank you. So anybody that wants to be with him already has that and will think if this will work for them or not. Then the part of if you cheat back, let me just there's something my husband says to me sometimes. He would say, I pray to God for my kind of wife, and I got my kind of wife. If you have a problem with me, go back to your God and find out if he gave you your kind of husband. So the thing is, it's important to know who it is that you're getting married to, what they want, what is priority to them, what is important to them. And in this case, we talk here a lot about women who go into relationships and they complain about somebody, and the person goes, but didn't you notice this when you were dating? Didn't you notice this when, you were courting?
You just hear comments like,
yes,
did he change?
Or did he change? But with this one, up front, not to, in my case, not to even go close to this person, Yeah.
So there are different segments to this statement. Yeah. There's a statement of, if I marry you and I cheat, that is saying there's a possibility that I can cheat. That's on one side. Then there's a part of cheating back. So it's not like the girl just voluntarily went to cheat. Maybe she fell in love with someone in between the marriage, but that she's doing it as a
punish him.
To punish him if you cheat back. So the question is it right when people... let me first get your opinion first. When you first saw the story, what did you think before I now ask this question?
Why me now?
Yes, because everybody else has said what was on their own mind.
I just felt this is immature people conversation. Yeah. People don't plan to cheat in marriage. You don't go into... If you want to cheat, kukuma be cheating. If you want to marry, you commit. It's a full, deliberate commitment that, matured minds do. So I don't think this person is matured at all. And whoever is married to him, cheating back or whatever, those are not conversations married people have. They're more serious conversations of genotype, quality of life for children, and all these kind of things that people talk about in marriage. This one is not even a tweet worth reading.
So,
but finished it.
but let's look at it in terms of reprisal. So many people have this conversation. If you do me, I do you back. If you cheat, I cheat on you back. You didn't give me your car, I will not give you my own car back. You spent your money how you want to spend it. Me too, I'll spend my money how I want to spend it. this mindset of people coming into marriage with the intention of like a competition, like if you don't, I'm not willing to give you that grace. I'm not willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. Like, let me allow you. Yes, you cheated. I'll forgive you and move on. Why? How do we deal with that feeling of I want to do back to you what you did to me? That's another issue that he insinuated it in a little bit, underlying the issue of him cheating. But the point is, it happens in marriage. Many people want to give it to him.
First off, I feel if you are married, love is very important. Unconditional love. It's not just love, unconditional love. If you know the meaning of unconditional love, that means the love I have for you is not conditioned to maybe you give me money, you don't give me money, you buy this, you don't buy it. It's unconditional love. And another, like I said earlier, you have to forgive. If you forgive and you have that grace upon your life to forgive the person, there's no need for you going back and cheating or revenge. Or it's immature, like she said. It's very immature. And you must not do, in fact, I feel like if the person cheats, you forgive the person and the person has sense, the person will respect you more and even love you more. And even be better. Like like I always say, I tell people that there's no excuse to cheating. You cannot tell me that it was not premeditated. You thought about it before you went to do whatever you went to do. So there's no excuse for that. So you must, first off, your partner must be forgiving, and you must also be ready to correct your mistake. Because there are some people you forgive them, they'll still do it again. So if they do it again, what will happen?
Very true. We'll take this phone call. Aderi Sola has called us from Ikorodu. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Tope.
Good morning.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a fine girl.
And my contribution is this. First, you have to get married to a man that will never cheat on you. And even though he is, he should not let you know. That is number one. Number two, if my husband should cheat on me, I will never do that. If I know I can't forgive him, I would rather leave the marriage. That is my contribution.
Thank you, Sola. Thank you so much. So
Darian has put it well.
Yeah.
So two wrongs don't make a right.
Right.
You cannot reduce yourself to a person's level when you think the person does wrong. It's wrong,
I was
always
reading
wrong
the
to
comment under
to
that,
repress.
and some people were saying things like, a man brings 90% to the marriage. The woman just brings her body to the marriage. She's not doing this, she's not there. And I'm like, that is totally wrong.
And that's the mindset many people have.
Exactly. So the man was saying, and some people I was seeing comments, and someone was saying things like, the man, except you can provide everything on the list that I bought for your bride price, this, then hey, you have the right to cheat.
So that raises a serious issue.
So,
that raises
ownership.
a very serious issue of culture and patriarchy. So we too, we promote it by saying, bring this, bring that. I know some families where the list is endless on what you need to marry their daughter.
Don't go there. Let's take this phone call from Abuja. Good morning. So sorry we lost that. What I'm saying we shouldn't go there is because really, culture, if we want to change the culture, we need to change a whole lot. And as even we that were clamoring for the change are not ready for all that all the implications of it, because it will mean that the marriage, the way we do it, will no longer stand. The marriage, the way we do it, tends to always make him feel like the man owns, and we need to deal with that situation, but it would involve a lot.
Let me explain how we already do these things. So a lot of times you make it seem like that the man did everything. But most times now, because of the way the people have really changed their mindset, women most times don't make noise about how much they put in their weddings. And in some cultures, it's the families, in the Yoruba culture, for instance, that does most of the spending. So it's the woman's family that does most of the spending. So whatever you spend on your part is different. So when you come out and say, I paid so much, it's just a few of those cultures, some cultures in Nigeria, for instance, that still allow those kind of things. So it's not a statement you should take generally.
Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes, I want to make a contribution concerning what you're saying.
Go ahead, please. Please go ahead. Ouch, I think we lost that. Mariam.
Okay, so I was just saying that sometimes really the conversations that happen depends on your experience, your age. And so you find out that in a certain group, there's a sort of conversation that they have because they haven't come into maturity. They haven't come into that sort of age. So to have someone say, well, a man brings 90% and a woman brings 10%, you find out, especially for new fathers, when you read their tweets, maybe they've just witnessed the birth of their first child, and they're like, what? I cannot believe that women do this. I mean, we say this every day, but until you find yourself in a position, you're unable to give proper, because you haven't experienced it, you're unable to understand fully what it entails. So anybody who is married,
talk like that.
Yes, no mature man no mature man will talk like that. No man who is married will talk like that, because you know that in a marriage it takes two to work it out. And sometimes when men will come out and say, oh, my wife has been such a strong support, she did this for me, did that for me. So that sort of man hearing another man say, oh, I bring him, like, are you sure you know what you're speaking about? So it's really
the song in my house is very different. I'll not sing it on national TV. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll further this discussion. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Social media was on fire over a statement made by the former Nigerian presidential aspirant, Adamu Garba. According to him, it's more important to be a wife than to be a female CBN governor. Joining us is Isong. This woman is the movie industry herself. We'll be reading your citation and your profile when we start the interview proper. But we wanted your opinion because you're a woman at the helms of affair within Nollywood, and you aspire to do this even while balancing the home front. So the conversation here and the back and forth on Twitter was all about the fact that there's no comparison. What are we saying? Why are you comparing being a female CBN governor with being a wife? What was your first thought when you read this conversation?
I didn't take it serious because I didn't think that I don't see anything wrong in aspiring to be, for instance, a CBN governor and also being a homemaker, being a wife. I think that you can manage the two. I don't understand. I didn't. I just thought it was maybe said in a different context. I don't want to think that. That's what the man was saying.
As much as I'd like to think that it was said in a different context, there are two very important roles, and to make one choose is always the issue. That's where the complication rises. So you're an achiever. You've done everything career-wise. Would you, if you had to advise someone, advise to choose one or always merge both, if the decision got to that point?
For me, I would advise that you merge both. The two are very important. It's important, of course, to make your home right. And of course, I mean, when you bring up your children well, you're contributing positively to the society. Exactly. So that is very important. But then again, maybe because I'm a career woman, I don't see anything wrong in merging the two. It's very important to balance it.
And I think that maybe a lot of people assume that women can do both, or it's impossible to do both. But every time, even from when we had a proper career structure, women have always done both. If we go back in time, our women have always been wives, mothers, and farmers or traders. So to say because now it's in a structured environment, we make it seem like African women all of a sudden have lost the ability to be able to balance everything. So we can do both, and except also maybe there's a context in which she finds herself in a dilemma, which is my work is somehow going to affect my being present for my children and for my husband. Which would I have to take over if it meant that going further in my career may mean that my home and my children would be suffering for whatever reason? What would you take personally in that case, if my home were to be, with my career, I would choose to spend more time at home with my children. But if that's not the case, and I think many women can do both, and they are always
I'll take Chudi's phone call and come to you. Welcome to the show, Chudi. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Chokwe, and all the members of the House. First of all, please, I want to react on the first issue you raised before the second issue. Yeah?
Go ahead, please.
Please. You said before, how do you put it? Your first point, a woman.
Yes.
about a woman.
Yes.
Can you rephrase it for me?
A man posted on Facebook that if he cheats, he should be forgiven. But if his wife cheats back, the marriage is over.
I mean, okay, that is wrong. In the first place.
Thank you.
Yeah. In the first place.
Just listen to me, don't listen to the TV.
Okay. In the first place,
So sorry. Please, when you have a conversation, listen to your phone. Don't listen to the television set. So, what
I wanted to say was that a lot of people really, they don't rate us. They don't rate women. They just come out and they just say things like, okay, they were accepted. And they get to forget that these days we have women who are in leading positions and they're still married and they're still holding the home front. And we're trying to raise voices for women in different quarters, in different areas. So someone coming out to say something like this, they forget that women naturally were multitaskers. I just feel the point he should say, like you said, is if the woman doesn't know her place in the home, because we have women, I'm not going to say, I'm 50-50 here. There are women who are like CEOs, who are like captains of industries, and when they get home, they don't get to actually submit to their husband. They feel, okay, because I direct people in the office and everything. No, I know. That I think, I'm just feeling, and because they think that way, they don't know how to be a wife in the home. So it takes two to tango. It takes a woman to know how to balance it. So I feel you can actually be a wife.
We put so much pressure on women.
We put so much pressure.
We put so much. The woman has to be perfect. She has to be good. She needs to bring in money. She needs to keep the home together. She needs to be an executive. If she's not doing well, then our house is suffering. And what does the man do? We'll take this phone call. Akiola has called us from Niger State. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Sister Tope Bakodide. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I want to recognize everyone there, but I cannot remember every name. The first lady in blue, the other sister in center, I can recognize Lima. So the issue of a woman that wants to cheat on her husband, because the husband has done so, it's not very good. Back to you are from Ijebu, the other lady in blue is a Yoruba. They say somebody that was sorted to do evil, and he do it because the evil day in mind me. Yorùbá sọ pé ẹni tá a kọ́ ní kàkiri tó ṣe ìkàyẹ nítorí pé ká wà nínú ẹ̀ ni. So when somebody has cheated on you, there is no need you go back to defend. And even in the two religious books, there is no room for defense.
Reprisal.
So
thank you, Mr. Akiola. I agree with you that you shouldn't do that reprisal cheating. Don't revenge.
I wanted to say to Damilola that this multitasking thing is a scam.
They want to just kill women.
I'm telling you, a lot of women are breaking down constantly under this. So what I always say is that marriage is a business. It's like an establishment, and it takes a lot of hands to build. So it's not one person's duty to multitask. So yes, we carry through pregnancies, we are naturals, but you must let your partner know the time, or when you need help, open up and ask for that help. This pressure that, our mothers, they lived through it, they made it, but most of them, we see their health today. And we see the women who made the decision to focus on themselves, enjoy both life.
Why is a great example. Multitaskers is that compared to what a man can do, a woman,
no, I think what she's saying is that women are naturally multitaskers.
We can juggle things.
We've been that burden has been placed on us, and we now develop our capacity to be that. So yes, we can do it. We can manage the home and manage the office, but so also can men. And women should get credit for all that we do, and we shouldn't be rated as 10% in a marriage. We'll say this over and over again, and I'm saying this also to women that feel like
by finances.
maybe.
No.
Women
Because
that
that's basically all that when you want to do the ratings for women, for where a proper patriarchy, where men are the only ones bringing finances, is that what you rate? So that means you don't put value to other things. And
So women should value themselves, even if it is not financial. You're contributing to that household with many things, and you're valuable. We'll wrap up this segment. When we come back, we'll be facing our celebrity guest proper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. She is unarguably the most respected filmmaker in Nigeria. She's a screenwriter, a film producer, a director. She has become known primarily for her films in the English language and is a dominant figure in the movie industry. Please welcome Isong. As in, there's a part we missed in that story, is that you have an academy.
Yes.
You have an academy. I run a makeup academy, and you've brought up people, celebrities, of which Mariam is one of your alumni. It is applaudable. So once again,
thank you.
Thanks for joining us. We love celebrating women, especially women that they've taken the bull by the horn and entered the industry and do things that are like mind-blowing. Because now we have people like Omoni Oboli, we have people that are daring, Kemi Adetiba, and I cannot, even we have Moabudu. But before there was all these people, there was you. Isong.
Yep.
we need to celebrate you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, when you started production, it wasn't common for women to go into that side. It wasn't a normal thing to have a female figure heading a production that would involve a lot of men, the camera, everybody listening to you. How was that experience? Because somebody is watching and wondering, I beg, I cannot try this. I can't.
I didn't really notice all of that because I was very passionate about my work. So it's really not about gender. As long as I'm doing my thing, everything in me comes alive when I'm on set. So I didn't really look at the fact that I was in control of anything. I just wanted to bring out a good job.
It seems your passion for this industry really has led to this new Nollywood, like we would put it, because now we have the kind of quality of movies. I think your first movie I saw was about domestic violence and rape, and there's an underlying backstory about your movies. So it's not just movie production. And another thing about you that I want to talk about is that as a producer, we usually get scoops of people in this industry, but you don't have controversy. How is it possible? Nothing at all to just...
What am I supposed to answer to that? I mean, of course, nobody's perfect. I'm sure I have my own skeletons here and there, but I just try to keep my private life private and then do my thing. And
we'll get into that private life today.
Yeah, so that's what one of the things I want to say, because usually when you're in this industry, also sometimes for those of us looking in from the outside, it seems like you also need to be a very outgoing person, always on the red carpet, always on TV screens, or conversation. People have your conversation on people's lips all the time, and you need to be turned out in expensive, glamorous ways. But you seem to, I've met you, a few times when at the school, and you're always busy. I'd never seen you just standing and just gisting. She's always off to one place and back. And so my question is, usually it seems like you're unable to, if you're in this industry, if you don't have that part of your life, that social life, you're not able to push. People say, oh, it's because I'm not that out there. That's why my movies are not selling, or that's why people... Is it important? And how have you been able to do it without that social glam and always on the red carpet and always on people's lips to sell movies?
Right now, I think it's important, but then you cannot divorce who you are. I mean, your personality from a film. It's for me, I'm a quiet person. I'm someone that is indoors a lot. But when I'm I'm promoting my movie, I make an effort to go out there on the red carpet, do all the glam stuff and all that. But if it's not in you, it's not in you. But right now, I've noticed that it's important for you to be out there, network, and try as much as possible to do the glam stuff to promote your movies. But then again, you talk about the guys, the male filmmakers. They don't really have to do that, and their movies are selling.
Exactly.
So
There's a pressure on women.
I think so.
So Damilola,
Talking about selling our movies, these days, when we see movies, we see a lot of Instagram influencers in movies that are not necessarily actors. I don't know how producers or directors pick their actors. Is it for sale? That's why they pick people with like 1.2 million followers on Instagram, rather than people who probably have maybe 3,000 followers, but
can act.
they can act very well. Why is that now in Hollywood? And another thing is, you see a movie, you see like 10 celebrities in the movie. Then you're looking forward to see your favorite celebrity, and the person is just in one scene. And they've used that person to promote the movie. And you're like, the movie will do better without this person. The movie will still stand as a movie without this person. Why is all of that? That's two questions.
It's like I'm on a hot seat here. I don't know why some of my colleagues choose to do that, but I guess it has to do with the commercial angle. But for me, if you watch my movies, the few that I've brought into the cinema, I will not do that. I'm not sure that I like that idea of packing everybody and putting in the movies, but for whatever reason that those other people do it, I want to believe it's because of the commercial angle. I'm very passionate. I'm very into my art, so you've got to interpret it well for me to bring you. It doesn't matter whether you have 10 million followers on Instagram or not. I don't really care about that.
So that's why I wanted to ask, what idea brought about the academy initially?
That's where I was going. That's my question.
Am I reading your heart? I'm inside your mind. Okay.
I'm from, my parents, or my mom especially, was a teacher, and she loved teaching. I knew that at some point I wanted to go into training. When I came into the industry, I just felt that writing, producing wasn't really enough. We need to, prepare an opportunity or prepare a space to hand over to the next generation. And I really believe in training. This is why I opened Royal Arts Academy, to also pump new faces into the business and give people a platform to come into the industry, because a lot of people call and they ask, how can I get into Nollywood? How can I get into Nollywood? And I thought that, okay, even if you don't get to act or anything like that when you come for training, you might have an opportunity to network with, the producers. You might have an opportunity to meet other people of like minds, and then you will hear one or two things about
it. I was expecting.
How has that been? What are the names of people that pass through your academy, and you're seeing them and you're very proud of who they've become now?
There are many. Belinda Ifa did a stint in our academy. Lota Chukwu did a stint in our academy. Ifeanyi Kalu, the big brother Bam Bam did, yes, and I think Bali. And there are quite a number of them. Bolande, she does a lot of Iroko. Iroko films, yes. Yes, they are quite...
okay, I haven't passed through it, and I see the work that you do there. So she gets many people from the film industry to come and give you like a day-to-day, there's the theory, yes, there's a theoretical part, and then there's people who are already in the industry and can say to you, be careful not to make these mistakes. Or there was one particular advice that was given to us, which is a lot of people who just want to be actors, so they will do anything. And when you do anything, you're not known for something worthy. So just wait until you can do that which, it's important to you. So pick a role that is important to you. How, for an upcoming actor, sometimes we find it difficult to make that decision. What would it be your advice to that person? Should I do as many roles as I want to right now until I get to put my face out there, or just wait for those important roles that will come to me?
I would not advise that because you don't know the role that is going to, put you out there. It could be just a two-scene thing. I give an example. When I first worked with Ime Bishop Omo, known as Bishop, the comedian,
yes.
I think it was a movie I did called Uyai. He hadn't done much then. I think he had only done 1 or 2 movies back then. Nobody really knew him. But he did only 5 scenes in Uyai.
My question is wrong. It's not just the roles. There are different types of production.
Okay.
So it's the script, it's the setting, you know, it may not be almost seedy, so you need to be careful.
Yeah, I've seen some movies
where they are
and
asked
I
to
did
do
not
things.
believe an actor of that level would read this script and want to act in such a movie. But then somebody now told me she needs to pay her bills.
Yeah.
So how do we find that balance of she needs to pay her bills? But I'll take your reply when I take after this phone call. Abike has called all the way from Navy Town, Nima Zone. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah,
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I've been trying to get you people. Ah, praise the Lord for the past
Yeah, we are happy for you.
It's only Yakubu that I used to see that you
I know, right?
He has the magic number. Go ahead with your contributions, please.
Okay, I just want to say hi to everybody. I'm so happy to get through. That's just what I've been trying for years to get to you people.
Now that you're broken,
I don't
I
have
hope you
anything to say about the topic.
consistent.
I just want to greet Yakubu that is always calling.
So,
Thank you for coming in. We'll take a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue the conversations with the great Isong. Wow. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we've been discussing with Isong, as you already know, you should know. She's someone you should know if you want to get into the movie industry. And before we left, we were asking you a question. It was about the fact that Miriam's question, which I was trying to clarify, that there's some people you see in some movies trying to pay the bills and all those stuff. What should be at the mind of anyone who wants to make a career in the movie industry? Should you just take anything that comes your way, or do something by the way and wait and work?
I would advise he or she does something on one hand while looking out for those roles that would push. And but I always say you really don't even know what role. It could be in a movie that is not so great, but you have an outstanding performance on that scene, and then somebody sees you and gives you a better role. So I always say you can just take up as many opportunities as you find.
Hi, Annie. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Doctor.
Thank you. Good to have you. Please give us your contribution.
To your guests and every of your co-presenters.
Good morning.
Yeah, concerning the last topic about being a Miss and a CBN governor, well, to me, I'm not really surprised. You can take a look at where that comment is coming.
I think we lost that call.
the network is bad.
All right. I wanted to ask you, a lot of Nigerians shy away from working with family members. They're like, I can't work with my family members. They just come with their own problem. But you literally work with your sister, Uduak Isong, and it has been successful. So how are you able to have that relationship with your sister
And work together.
and work together at Royal Art Academy and still remain very close?
We actually started out, she started working with us in Royal Arts Academy. She actually is a part owner of Royal Arts Academy. But I would credit my sister with being very disciplined. And she knows her onions.
Yes.
So it's easy to work with her. And she understands boundaries. So especially for back then, even other people, when there's respect. She also has a passion for the business. So it's easy to work with her. I can work with family. It's not just her. I have 1 or 2 family members, relatives that work in my company. And they're not doing badly at all.
So I wanted to know, because your movies are always quality, but one of them that refuses to leave my mind is Akpaye. And the scenes, let me take the scenes Belinda was in before it was Clarion Scenes. It took me to that traditional setting, the patriarchy, the way women were treated in those days. Was it anything in your background that informed how you would tell that story, how you would portray it in the movie? Why does it look so real?
Actually, that story, it was a biopic. It was a true life story of someone. So we did a lot of research, and we had to go talk to some of the people that were involved in this woman's lives. The particular, the Apaye herself, she had just died. I was commissioned to do a project by her son, and he was very passionate about his mother. So we got to talk to so many people who knew the woman and some of the experiences that they had as they were growing up. So we wrote that from
Research.
From research.
I want to ask you a question, but before I ask, I'll take this phone call. Olayinka has called from her papa. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm happy to get you today. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
And I'm very happy. First, I want to say hello to Emen.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you, ladies.
Good morning.
Please don't listen to the
Thank
television.
you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So there are
I have
tweets for MM as well.
I have a daughter who really loves you, and she wants to be an actress. But I'm so scared of people around them. Probably I'll look for your personal contact later to talk to you.
Okay, so one of the things that scare people about acting is sexual harassment and the fact that people will be asking for sexual favors from aspiring actors. That's one. Number two is the quality of stories we're telling. So we had the UNDP come on the show and we're talking about how he's partnering with the movie industry, and I'm saying we're not telling enough creative industry. We're not telling enough stories about cross marriages across, inter-ethnic marriages, inter-religion marriages, and a lot of them happen. Christians married to Muslim that have good marriages, that raise children. We're not telling those stories so that people would see the possibility that it can work. We're not doing a forecast, the way that you see in developed countries, in the US and all of that, where they'll say in 2050, Nigeria is developed, one thing, and children can start aspiring to becoming or creating that kind of future. Why are we still telling pasts? Why are we still telling the stories of our parents? Why are we not casting a vision for the future through our stories?
For most of the made-to-TV, or some of the made-to-TV films, some of these topics are handled. But I would admit, really, we're not telling enough, and we should do more of that. And I'm guilty as well. I hope that in the future we will try.
So usually this will come under challenges, but we know piracy is tough in this business. How do you curtail yours? How do you make the most of your
Let me take this phone call, then you answer that question. Hassan has called from Lekki. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Tope. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Please, I would like you people to concentrate your energy on responsible men, not irresponsible men.
Thank you.
A man that told his would-be wife that I will cheat is an irresponsible man. He has already opened a floodgate for whatsoever. She can decide to revenge or not to revenge. That's an issue. You understand? You see, all this one we are talking about, we have responsible women by the side. A lot of men, we have women we praise every day. You understand? Every man is born by a woman. All this kind of a thing you see, we are not competing. I have a right to talk to your view, to share my views about with you people. Because not all women are bad, and not all men are bad. We are not competing. But for a man to say that, it's an irresponsible man. Good morning.
Thank you so much. So there are two questions waiting for you to answer. The one about harassment and what Nima just asked now.
Piracy.
Okay, let me take the one about harassment. I think that happens in almost every industry. You know, it depends on how you handle yourself. I mean, nobody says, it's very wrong. In my establishment, I frown against it seriously. I do not condone that at all. But I also feel that some the women should also try to carry themselves well. When I say that, I mean by don't act too desperate. Know your onions. Try to work on yourself as an actor. And honestly, if you're good, when you go for an audition, if you're not picked at one, somewhere along the line, you will be picked by merit.
Okay. There was a second
piracy.
How do you deal with piracy, and how do you make the most of your movies?
For now, piracy, I don't want to say it's curbed. We're not dealing, at least in the DVD era where I really practiced, it was really horrible. It was so bad that we were losing a lot of money. But for now, it's mainly online. So it's not, we're not feeling it as much, but it's there. Especially when you bring your movie to the cinemas, you are not, before you know it's on YouTube. It's a terrible situation, and we hope that the government will join hands with us to fight this.
Let me take this phone call. I'll come to you, Damilola. Let me take this phone call. We have Solomon all the way from Aja. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is my first time.
Oh, we'll have a lot of first-time callers today. Good to have you join us, Solomon. Welcome to the show.
I want to talk about the matter concerning being a wife, something like that, and the governor, CBN governor, something like that. Just like the last caller said, we should learn how to also talk about men that are responsible. And again, I don't know the expectation of some women when you're talking about getting married. I heard you when you're talking about it's only women is doing this, women is doing that, women is doing, what are the men doing? You must know that every marriage has expectation.
Yeah.
And we should expect that in our own marriage or in your own marriage, in everybody's marriage, there should be progress. And while in that progress, we should talk about expanding our capacity. We should focus on that so that we will not have issues. All these issues of only women is working, putting pressure.
Thanks for your contribution. We appreciate it. So,
All right. So I wanted to ask that there's this thing about movies that get to cinemas that a lot of directors, producers, executive producers, they come out, oh, we made $500 million, 500 million naira in cinemas in the first 2 weeks, in the first 3 weeks. How true is that, first off? Then secondly, there was late last year, there was this actor, I can't remember his name, he came out and said that, yes, you people are making that money, but are you sure you're paying the actors the right amount of money? Royalties for actors. Is it that after that they don't get paid again?
There's a contract.
No,
Yeah,
there's a contract.
yeah, and based on their contract, in their contract, is it stated that, oh, if the movie does this amount, you get this amount for royalties? Are actors being taken care of in the industry? Then the money in the cinema.
Zero.
Yes, we need to know that
Is it
one.
audio
Is
money?
it audio money?
Well, I don't think it's audio money for some of the movies. A lot of things are added together to that great box office figure. And it all depends. In some people maybe may exaggerate a little, but it's
and not
close to
all
the
of the money goes to the producers anyway.
Of course
there are many
not.
people
That's
involved.
gross. By the time the money gets to you, you probably not even recover what you put in for the movie. So you have to, rely on other ancillary sales. So it's
Let me take some tweets for you.
No, we need to go. We're out of time. We can't take any tweets. I'm so sorry for all of you. We didn't take tweets all through. We want to know what you're working on.
Oh, I'm coming out with a movie called Special Jollof.
Oh, that should be good.
It's opening in cinemas next weekend, 14th February.
Is it comedy?
Oh, it's
Not
a
really.
Valentine
It's not
movie.
a comedy per se, but it's a love story, a mixture of this and that. But it talks about immigration issues. The movie was shot in the US, yes.
Oh,
And that's apt right now.
Yes, very, very. I'd love to
We'll look
watch
out
that.
for
So
it.
we'll go and watch it during Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on our show today. We really appreciate you. Sorry we couldn't take the tweets for all of you that tweeted at us. We would retweet it after the show. And the conversation, of course, would continue. Have a fabulous weekend. See you all next week. Bye.